Welcome back, Rankers. Sorry, I just couldn't help it. I have to get into the whole MasterChef bandwagon. In case you're not in Australia, we have just experienced MasterChef for the first time, a so-called reality show that puts amateur chefs and tries to turn them into professionals. Anyway, took Australia by storm. I don't know anybody that hasn't watched it, and every social get-together that I've had in the last month has everyone's always talked about MasterChef, and it's been a bit of a ratings phenomenon for the Channel 10 network, and they've done a really good job in promoting it and working out what the next show should be in that time slot and what shows they should be playing after that time slot. What has this got to do with SEO? Well, not so much SEO, but just online marketing generally, because I think what Channel 10 and the producers of the MasterChef have done is absolutely amazing, but I think it took a little bit by surprise, and they missed out on, I think, on a wonderful opportunity. Because not once did I see or remember anyone directing me at either a Twitter account or even a website for that matter. I'm not saying there wasn't one in the credits, but certainly I don't remember being directed at it, and I tend to remember that sort of stuff because it interests me. And I thought they missed a marvellous opportunity to engage with their audience, because their audience was talking about this online. And what I found interesting is when they were talking about this online, we're at Google Insights for search again, and the two searches that I've done here are MasterChef as 2 words and MasterChef as 1 word. Now this is actually the brand. That is actually the name of the show. So we can see here, this is over the last 30 days, search volumes. And remember, these are relative search volumes, so they're relative to one another. And we can see here, interestingly, it's starting to peak, and the finale was there on Sunday. But here is the 16th. Now, if you're in Australia, that's the night Justine was voted out, which is interesting, and I'll show you why in a moment. And this here, of course, was Saturday, when there actually wasn't an episode. And then, of course, the finale here where it spiked. Now, these are people actually doing this search whilst the show's going on. And so they're actually searching for other MasterChef websites or other people talking about MasterChef during the airing of the show itself. Now, if we go and actually, I'll just show you this down here. This will show us the breakout, what we call rising surges or breakout phrases that are related to whichever phrase we pick here. So you can see here MasterChef Julie is a breakout phrase. That means over the last month it's probably been up more than 1,000%. Now, sorry you haven't seen it yet, but she was the winner. Spoiler alert. And that's probably why it's broken out there, and everyone's looking for her cookbook and everything else. But Channel 10 missed a fabulous opportunity to actually really engage with their audience online and build up some loyalty, because there was so much talk about cooking in any get-together I would have gone to over the last month. And I thought it would have been a great opportunity for Channel 10 to basically just start providing their online audience with a lot of extras. And I know that the website, if we're going to have a look at the website, it's still coming down. But the website, you know, is quite extensive, and it's a great-looking website. Nothing wrong with it at all. But I just think Channel 10 missed the opportunity to take that next step, and that's probably because it took them by surprise. Now, if we actually go and do the search MasterChef in Google, of course we get the masterchef.com.au. But what's interesting here is that the only contestant whose name appears in site links is Justine. And presumably that's because she was actually, from what I can tell, looking at the Google stats, the most popular MasterChef. And if we go and, well, let's go and compare her to Julie. All we have to do here is add a search term, so we'll put in Julie, and we're going to add a search term, and we'll put in Justine. And this is the reason I'm leaving MasterChef in there for this search, is because I wanted to see it in relation to MasterChef, these two names, not just all the Julies out there Googling themselves. Okay, so we can see there that certainly MasterChef, once again, is the standout phrase, and we can see the two of them here peaking. So I'll take that MasterChef out so I can see a more granular result for just those two names. And the reason I'm doing this is because Google has decided in its wisdom to give this, where are we? I'll just go back here, to give Justine its own site link. Now, if we go to the site itself, there's no obvious link there for the contestants that I can see. But Google has recognised that Justine is a word they are going to include in their site links because presumably a lot more people want that phrase or want that word. Now, if we have a look at Julie and Justine, even here over the course of the month, that's just not the case. So, and usually you would say, oh, well, there's an obvious link. I'll show you what I mean. Usually would say, oh, well, there's an obvious link there through to Justine. But there isn't an obvious link through to Justine on that front page. And sometimes Google will just pick up the word that's in the link. Well, that's not what's happening here. What's actually happening is that Google has recognised that, I think, that there's a lot more links out there to the Justine page, and that's why they're featuring it in the site link, which tells us a little bit about site links. Now, you can also get these links. You don't have to be what we call the authority site, the #1 site, to get these links. You can also just get these links if you, well, let's do the search. You can also get these links if Google sees that your site's been around a while. And you'll see here, where are we? Yeah. If your site's been around a while and there are consistent links that Google knows about, and these have changed probably 50% over the last months, and we haven't really changed the front of the page of the site at all. But these links actually have changed, so that tells us that Google is looking at more than just what we link to off the front page. It's looking at the other links around the net to decide whether you should have site links or not. Look, that's it for today's show. I just wanted to show you that little thing about MasterChef. I thought it was very interesting. If we have a look at that over 90 days, I'll just do that quick search. One other thing, when you're using, people have often asked me, how do we use Twitter? As I've said before, we use it more of a business networking tool, not as something to sell stuff through. And if you are on Twitter, you'll probably notice that there's probably not a shortage of people telling you how to make thousands of dollars in a few seconds on Twitter and how to get a bazillion followers on Twitter. The number of followers, in my humble opinion, really doesn't matter. What is important is the engagement of those followers. And Twitter for us is like business networking. We go there and we see if we can help people, see if we can make connections, and we don't usually try to flog stuff just straight into the Twitterverse. It's more about introducing to people what we do. But this is an email I got this morning. And you can see here that MacMail thinks this is junk mail, and I would have to agree. A magazine called Visibility Magazine has sent me an email this morning, and the subject of which is follow us on Twitter. Well, I've never even heard of this magazine before. I don't know how they got my address, but I do know it's spam, and that is how not to use Twitter. Sending out spam email telling people to follow you on Twitter. And yes, of course, I have actually tried to connect with at Visibility Magazine this morning on Twitter to tell them to stop spamming me, but they are unresponsive, which is a little odd because they just sent out a mail campaign. But anyway, if you are going to send out a mail campaign and you're going to put links back into Twitter, make sure you're actually on Twitter at the time that you send the mail campaign out. It just allows for a more instant response to the people that you're trying to connect with. And that's it for today's show. See you next week. Thanks. Bye.